a workshop about Lefèvrestraat. I'm Mark Brearley from London, pleased as ever to be in Brussels, the city of miracles. Here's how it went on the afternoon of 24th of May 2019, presenting at the end of 4 days focused on this piece of that city. This was the second workshop linked to the BSI City Dev Chair 2019. I enjoyed sitting in that chair. Thanks to Mr. Cadranel from City Dev for a good introduction. For the record, it's spliced in at the end of this video. This effort overlapped with the fourth of the Noordrand workshops, sponsored by Flanders and steered in collaboration with the excellent Jan Zaman. Thanks to Flanders and Brussels, to CityDev and BSI. I talk in English, my apologies. Jan Zaman and Jan Tewakoren presented 2 chunks in Dutch and French, but here I merged it all together. Like this then. Pretend it's spring 2019 again. We've spent some days this week trying for some helpful suggestions about the areas around Dieudonné Lefèvrestraat, just north of Taxis, between Dock and Laeken, in Brussels. This area. We picked on the pieces where there are live possibilities, or some discussion about potential change. We explored, welcomed some key stakeholders with knowledge and opinions. About a dozen people participated in coming up with what I'll sketch out now. Myself with the team from Architecture Platform, Benoit Maritz, Roland Dudal, Jan Zaman and more, busy in Jubilee Residence, our base for 3 busy days. It's all about the argument that a good city has everything, and the part we all forgot more troublingly, that the best cities have industry on a range of scales. Cities need to face today's special challenges of rolling forward the welcome, being able to sustain a fully mixed economy and job diversity. Brussels has long been good at this, weaving it in, keeping it part of the public life, together with, not segregated, below as well as alongside. Now bravely building in a way that makes big, deep spaces with residential above or near, a new version of the way it was done before. Scarcity of industrial space is coming to Brussels. Old trends have been reversed. Decisions a few years ago stripped this city's large, solid chunks of protected industry to just about 14. Here's 13 of them, mostly clustered along the valley, north and south of the centre. Number 14 added in the area of focus this week. That's what you have as solid industrial, finite, now precious. There are also sizable parts of the city, those in blue roughly, with a remarkably rich mix in their fabric, including industry, much of it small scale. But it's been going fast. Perhaps half of that capacity has been lost in a couple of decades. Unfortunate. Be careful then, because it's amongst the city's most remarkable assets. Indeed, that asset is why I call it the City of Miracles. Our focus area was once larger, including all of Taxis, rail links, giant old-style logistics. But now it's shrunk. It's alongside a piece of super diverse fabric. It's part of Laeken. In fact, it's richly mixed all around. Our area, part of that grey, the mixed fabric, surrounds. You need to do battle for that mix, because it's precious. Helps the city's vitality, its openness. Invention is the key to retaining the mix. Luckily, this city is bold, fearless. Hooray for CityDev. Vital to that invention, part of it, with superb schemes like this about to happen. 3 equals. Once there was here a single chunk of industry, logistics focus, the surrounded grey chunk, and here alone. A few years ago, the agreement to make it 3, a reduced industrial piece, a park network, mixed redevelopment, office, event, piece of residential. All these 3 should be equals in a fair world. But so far the industry has felt like the weakling. Its designation protected, mostly port-owned, so it can't be taken away, but it's not celebrated, not with a sufficiently clear idea of itself, not proud enough of its role. We need a name. A name would help, it really would. Like Buda now uses its name. It wasn't originally the name of that bigger industrial area further north. I would go for Tivoli, a wonderful, often appropriated name. How fitting that the name of a street and a college borrowed from an excellent city dev mixed development be applied to the big industrial piece of city alongside. That piece, the Tivoli industrial area, is a solid, like a castle. We thought about how it works, how it really could abut the city around it in a better way, give more. This was the first sketch with blue bits, showing areas of overlap, potentially, to make it less castle-like. Let's rehearse that. Solid industrial chunks tend to be bounded, fortified, like castles, with an internal access system, here, roughly like this. We have some promising edge nuances already. The green biz public room and visible yards, a school weaved into the edge. The exciting idea coming forward now of the brewery, winery, drinks depot, plumbers merchants, car garage, all with one side connecting to the public, the wider city. More edge nuances can come. Our suggestions include for this. For the fortress, engaging with what's beyond, extrovert, like the new industrial boulevard will do. You can see the plots along there, impressive effort. Embedded industry. A very different situation in those mixed areas, the other side of Lefèvrestraat, organised from outside, from mixed streets, the opposite arrangement. Like our good friend Godiva, not so far away. Goods in to their factory from a 19th century residential street, cohabiting with the domestic with remarkable success. Goods out by the metro line onto a shared street space. Don't think of those car repairers as an annoyance. They are valid, part of the shared life. One day soon there will be bicycle repairers and zero-emission van services, I'll bet. Design those shared streets well, not like this unfortunate new cycle lane cutting across Speedy Glass's curbside loading route that I saw them struggling with, and compromising bigger goods vehicle access when needed to green biz, indifferent to the diverse use of the street. Multi-use is good. Bicycles are a big part of the future, but they should not stop the goods vehicles from turning, going where they need to go, without driving across where the bicycles think they're safe. We have to get details like this right for streets like Lefèvrestraat with industry in the mix, so we don't push out that special economy. It's a design challenge to embrace. It's a simple way to load across footway. Straightforward. This lorry can load across the pedestrian footway while the cycles go past on the cycle lane on the street. Simple little things like that we need to figure out. Crucial for streets like Lefèvre. Here the blue dotted are the shared streets, pink and fine-grained industry, workshops and small logistics spaces, the existing added to. How it can easily be. 4 chunks. With such overall observations in mind, we looked at 4 chunks of the area, getting more spatial, practical, tangible with our suggestions. These 4. One at a time then. I'll explain. The big beast. It's the TIR freight facility. Huge presence in the city. A legacy from the 1950s, updated in the 80s. With a ramp arrangement that does its job excellently, makes 2 vehicle layers possible. Big trucks, trunk distribution at top level as well as on the ground. Here the short distance city distribution, going out. Much has good cross-docking, and we talked through how that can be made better. The decks are the key, unlikely to be built new, not yet anyway. Need to wait a few years for more shortage. But my goodness, you have them already, and they work in this place. Where we started was observing that those ramps and decks serve, how they are now, realising how readily the decks could be extended to serve more at the upper level, improve access and allow for expansion, more city logistics, perhaps urban production, in the sections where cross-docking is less realistic. It could go further still as the new industrial street developments mature, as the city depot site comes forward, all able to intensify, go higher, with an upper level above the 7-metre line. With the evolution of cities serving supply chains, including burgeoning internet shopping, infrastructure like TIR, that for a while seemed outdated, makes perfect sense. In a city located, able to take goods in from a vast catchment, then rapidly send them on for their last short journey. A decent access road, well defined in the urban fabric, is needed, and here we've got Havenlaan. Two current trends call out for an update of TIR. New, nimble mobility of goods in cities with electric vans and cargo bikes that must pick up at TIR. And the refreshing of the waterways, moving back beyond bulk and container traffic to embrace pallet handling. TIR is a gift from history. Instead of demolishing the infrastructure, it can be optimised, intensifying logistics and production around it, better managing the flow of goods that the city needs. Here's the opportunity for the Port of Brussels and CityDev to embrace this logistics model, offer it to operators who want to distribute in the city and niche manufacturers for whom here makes sense. It will not happen through the initiative of occupier businesses though, but with a push from the city agencies it can fly. We suggest extending the upper level decks westwards, then grafting more buildings onto them. Getting to an urban form with two dynamics, the infrastructure for the trucks, an inert perennial system, and the buildings grafted onto that infrastructure, adjustable, able to be renovated, adapted or replaced as needs change. An obvious bonus is to connect this logistics citadel to the pallet wharf area that the port has just enabled with its new berth on the other side of Havenlaan. Connecting TIR to the waterway would make the most of a city port infrastructure, the Vergoterdock. More space connected for water freight can be created on a site that has never before been connected to water. It could be done on the level, but best would be a pallet bridge. We've even seen versions with conveyors to assist goods handling. The TIR upgrade becomes a blockhouse in which the assorted warehouse units can be used in varied ways. Each is opened up for large trucks, most are good for cross-docking. Big in one side, distribution for the other by vans or cargo bikes. Or production is possible. Some can take advantage of natural light. These ideas couple well with the City of Brussels' plan to build a depot. A flexible architecture can be occupied by multiple users, each slotting onto the upgraded infrastructure. Along the dock front, a refreshed TIR can be an urban piece equivalent to the nearby Royal Warehouse and the new Flemish government Herman Teerlink building. As proud as those two are, maybe prouder. Since most people never enter such a building, its facade is how its architecture communicates. This can be a huge cluster building with a varied thickness along its perimeter, revealing the diversity of activities, the storage, handling and production, movement of trucks, elevators, cargo bikes that are specific to a distribution hub. The skin can be the interface with the outside, with the city, with facilities such as cafe, creche, public room installed. Could be on the side with the schools around Lefèvrestraat, part of the extrovert edge idea. Here's a taster of the possibility on the Havenlaan side. A rough, in principle, section. It could go up another floor, in fact. And what's that on the roof? Industrial buildings have large roofs. These extensive free areas are an asset in a city, can be grasped for sports facilities, public park, allotment gardens maybe. TIR refreshed could have 8 hectares of roof. not small. This is the size of horticultural businesses, strawberries, tomatoes and more, that we know. At TIR, urban intensive agriculture on the roof could go beyond the anecdotal, may be profitable. A hub for distributing goods in town, just-in-time manufacture added in. Agriculture above, productively reusing rainwater and taking advantage of energy synergies. Greenhouses need heat. Warehouse refrigerators waste it. They could be friends. This has the makings of a winner project. By the way, the city depot plan is for street maintenance. That's exciting, in fact. This is a brilliant one in Munich. 3 layers for vehicles and materials, covered yard, heated half with workshops, administration, traffic and emergency management for the whole of Munich. All that the City of Brussels Highway Department want here, as we understand it, can fit below the 7 and 8 metre deck level. Other industrial uses could be on top, access from the extended deck. Car parking below if you insist. And with that edge of the solid opened up a little, where it touches the city near a park and a school, a celebration of what's inside. The school kids can look through a window, see the workshop, the depot, get a sense of the activity. The city is proud of what it does for everyone, fixing their streets. Chunk 2. We called it the hill and the corner, the piece with the Ziegler buildings and site up above on the higher ground, where the ground was long ago cut away for the railways. Superb, typical old fabric on one part of the street, adjoining a vacant opportunity, a big one in fact. And down there it comes together with the planned park, the school site, path links, edge of the solid industry, and the big beast logistics world in the distance. There are some tight, enjoyable spaces. How all this comes together is important, yet it's complicated, needs some help. Interestingly, it's a range of public authorities who are trying to do many things here. Build a school, build a depot, run a port facility, shape a park, make path links. So it's a great opportunity. Please, you need to explore it more. A competition, perhaps. The designation plan is okay, but perhaps the school site could shift, because the section here, the big level changes, gives an opportunity. There should be paths, not roads, for foot and cycle. Buses can go up a Lefèvrestraat, no problem. They already do. And if there are more services, they could go that way too. Let's not try to plough roads through. It's just a bit too tight. Green fingers between school and the wonderful depot building. Be generous with the scope of the do not destroy choices. Small industry, entered from the street. Could be a sports hall beyond it. 9 metres height can be achieved where the ground drops away, no difficulty. Allowing for housing on top, completing the space of the street, and a belvedere, a lookout place for the public, and sports shared by the school on top. Even a bit of a roof deck car parking could be fitted to get local people's cars off the shared street. Here's our section idea then. The darker blue is the sports hall, the yellow is the school, pale blue the housing with workshop spaces below. School, sports hall, small industry, all below a public roof. Housing goes higher. Park, beyond it all, marrying it to the big industrial citadel. Sketch of its plan. Yes, it could work well. Here it is. Yellow's the school, darker blue the sports hall, sports pitches on top, housing to the street and rising above, all below a roof level that is a shared space. Here with the park, other side the industry, TIR, depot. Zoom in. The connection pieces with the old water tower building and the Pyreneesian link between the truck deck and the little connecting path up to Lefèvrestraat northern section and barrier-free route to Lefèvrestraat the other way by the school. Yes, please. Number 3, extrovert rooms. The possibility on the Green Biz second plot. We like the original scheme. In fact, this is not the original scheme. This is my sketch of a similar scenario. same currently vacant site, with the desk or bench workspace above, 8-metre high workspace below at street level. This view from Lefèvrestraat then, TIR big industry chunk to the left, Greenbiz to the right. The Tivoli name, of course, on top. We say the ground floor workshops here can be more open with windows. It is a prominent corner. Part of that giving edge, same idea. There are only a small proportion of industrial users who like the idea of that, but some businesses do indeed enjoy it. Encourage this at this key place, a part of the extrovert edge. This is an example from near my own factory. Bespoke fabricators open direct to the street. The Fab Lab could move there, for example, as it's partly about visibility, about aspiring and learning. If they could have windows to the street, it would be a perfect spot for them. Our final chunk explored, number 4, workshops for the city. We had a good idea for this site facing Hafenlaan. It starts with another Munich project. It's an impressive place, Munich. The Gewerbehof Lime, built in 2011, is a long building, 150 metres. It's packed full of industrial businesses. The ground floor hosts heavier activities, and above smaller units entered from long wide corridors served with goods lifts that can fit a car or forklift truck. A wide variety of occupiers in there on 4 levels, such as vegan ice cream makers, window fabricators, all kinds of interior installers, furniture production, design and prototyping of hospital bed robotics, a few bakeries, an impressive diversity of enterprise, small metalwork, printing and publishing, powder coating or other metal finishing, for example, could also occupy units in such a building. More recently, a similar Gewerbehof was completed in Hamburg, that one about 200 metres long, close to the same length as our chunk 4 as it happens. At the time of completion, 80% of the units had already been let. Indicated in green here are the units that were still available. Don't call them though. By now they will be full. The Hamburg version has 1 floor less than Munich, but has an even more practical layout. Here we see the scale of the building, with an architecture, a facade texture that is more city-friendly, less daunting than the size of the building would suggest. On the Chunk 4 site, we believe that such a building is possible. Around the existing school, we tested the options. Our building can be slightly deeper than the Gewerbehof in Munich, the main block 20 metres total, and it can have a wider variety of occupiers, a multi-layered building with shifting section. In light pink, single-storey industrial units on the courtyard. The section along Lefèvrestraat has larger units, 12 to 14 metres deep and double-banked. Along Hafenlaan, the part that's 20 metres deep, smaller workshops. And why not overbuild the total lorry fuel station? It fits perfectly underneath the building if we make the ground floor 7 metres high. Along Klassenstraat, a lower building opposite the residential neighbours and a clear interaction with that street. Here it is then, well configured with nimble corners, a through route for goods vehicles, the ground floor with a higher floor to ceiling. In Munich there was not much of a difference, but because of our location in the port area we suggested making the ground floor 7 metres, upper floors each 4 metres tall. Total height 23 metres, similar to the Royal Warehouse, the refreshed TIR and the Teerlink building. 4 proud friends they could be. An inner working courtyard that incorporates a reopened former street that runs under the building on Hafenlaan and connects in Klassenstraat so that the whole can be served by goods vehicles without nuisance to the housing opposite. Starting from how it is now, this project could be realised in 2 phases. You can start at the Lefèvrestraat end, the south. Standalone, it has sufficient access for the inner courtyard. Or start at the total station end, the northern part. If and when the whole has been realised, here it is. That works best, of course. but you don't have to do both. Just like in Munich, the whole building can front the street and it achieves a greater depth on the ground floor than on the upper ones. The activity on the ground floor can give a face to the project. For example, a bakery that sells the bread it makes, if you're passing by, has a viewing window and you can go in. When are we going to build this? Soon would be good. That bakery idea is hinted at here. It's the one I've been getting my breakfast from these few days. New, extrovert, thriving. Their production is on display. It runs along the street front. Clearly they intended to show themselves off. This miniature example is in the spirit of all our suggestions. Industry, comfortable in the city, unwelcomed by it. That's what we need. Thanks for your attention. Many who need thanking are thanked in text with this video. The following is Benjamin Cadranel's nice 5-minute introduction, for the record, original recording.
Voilà, bonjour à tous pour cette dernière après-midi de la semaine. On est content d'être à l'intérieur. Donc vraiment, merci pour votre présence. Voilà, moi je suis assez heureux d'être ici avec vous pour ce dernier workshop de la chaire 2018-2019 BSI CityDev. Cette chaire, elle a comme volonté notamment de faire des ponts entre les universités. Alors je pensais 3 universités grâce à BSI, Saint-Louis, l'ULB et la VUB, mais je vois qu'il y en a une 4e maintenant, mais ça c'est la reconfiguration du paysage, donc c'est quelque chose de formidable. Donc voilà, faisons des ponts, mais c'est des ponts aussi entre le monde académique et les institutions, les administrations bruxelloises qui s'occupent du développement urbain, CityDev bien entendu, mais le port de Bruxelles, l'ASSO, Perspective, enfin, tous ceux qui sont intéressés par ces questions, de faire des ponts avec les étudiants, parce que dans le cadre de cette chaire, on a eu l'occasion de travailler directement avec des étudiants et de pouvoir écouter également les suggestions que eux pouvaient nous faire sur des propositions de développement. Et donc, je voudrais, ik wil bedanken de ploeg van onafhankelijke experten die hebben gewerkt op dit specifieke workshop in samenwerking met meneer Brearley en Jan Zaman. Het is ook een brug tussen instellingen, tussen gewesten, omdat het Vlaams gewest is ook in dit workshop deelnemen. Et donc c'est vraiment très important de voir que toutes ces personnes qui n'ont pas forcément l'habitude de travailler ensemble, de réfléchir ensemble, viennent travailler avec nous. Et donc, namelijk Anne-Katrien Verdict van Architectuur Platform, Jan te Werkoren Architectuur Platform, Roland Dudal Architectuur Workroom et Benoît Moritz de MSA. Également de l'ASSO Charlotte Coquaine, du port de Bruxelles. On me dit de remercier Régnier Ekmans, mais je m'en voudrais de ne pas remercier Fons et Philippe qui sont également présents parmi nous. Encore une fois Benoît Moritz, et puis tous les gens de CityDev qui ont participé à ce workshop, à la fois sur le fond et pour l'organisation, et donc spéciale dédicace à Véronique Deschamps qui est ici parmi nous. L'objectif ici de ce workshop, c'est vraiment de mettre un accent sur la réorientation, la réconciliation entre les zones urbaines à usage mixte, entre les zones industrielles et les zones de logement. On va s'occuper d'un quartier qui nous est très cher parce qu'il est juste à côté du quartier Tivoli Green City qu'on vient de terminer et du centre-tir qui est une infrastructure du port de Bruxelles. Et donc cette idée de voir cohabiter face à face un quartier résidentiel mais aussi productif avec Greenpeace et puis le centre-tir qui est une énorme infrastructure logistique très innovante en son temps, mais qui fait face à des défis formidables pour l'avenir, à côté du port, à côté de la ville habitante, à côté de Tour et Taxi. On est véritablement dans quelque chose de passionnant à étudier, et c'est bien un des enjeux d'un groupe de travail comme celui-ci, d'un workshop comme celui-ci, c'est véritablement, peut-être pas de définir une vision commune, mais au moins d'essayer de trouver un langage commun pour brainstormer, faire émerger des nouvelles formes d'innovation bénéfiques pour la ville, en étant justement libérés des enjeux politiques, des enjeux économiques, idéologiques, pragmatiques, financiers, qui sont en général de mise lorsqu'on débat de ce type de développement. Là, ici, on est là pour réfléchir et essayer de faire avancer le débat et d'apprendre à nous connaître. And last but not least, I will thank Mark Brearley. So it's a bridge between cultures, also between languages. We have Flemish, we have French, and we have English, and that will be, of course, very fulfilling to be able to switch from one language to another here, especially in Brussels. And I will especially thank Mr. Brearley for all the energy, all the brain that he has put in the master classes and in the workshop of this very interesting share. And I will leave him the floor right now so we can stop thanking everybody and start to get to work. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.